Hello. Now, the story of Alexei Navalny, it just goes on and on. There's a tremendous new documentary out about him, which sort of, well, you couldn't really make it up. It reads like a spy thriller, and I suppose it is. And yesterday, Navalny was on trial in Pokrov in the prison camp. And his wife says, this is probably the first time since the days of Stalin that somebody has been tried in a prison camp. And his wife has actually been allowed access, which was quite unexpected. This prison camp, Pokrov, 80 miles east of Moscow itself. So fairly isolated. And no one else is allowed to the trial. And in the next day or so, it's fully expected that the sentence will inevitably be lengthened and confirmed, as Navalny himself said in 2020 when he was first convicted. "You will increase my prison sentence indefinitely. What can I do about it?" He sees this as being about the people, not about himself. And he's encouraged the activists who support him to pursue corruption, to publish facts about corruption, and specifically to publish what they can discover about what Putin and his various wives have done with the money that they have allegedly stolen. His words, not mine. I don't want these people, says Navalny, I don't want these people in the Kremlin. They've been there for decades and they are thieves. Yes, and at the moment, the Russian-Ukrainian problem is distracting attention from this particular situation, which will keep Navalny in prison and out of any form of presidential race, really certainly for the next few years, and probably indefinitely. Chancellor Schulz, it has attracted some attention. Chancellor Schulz, in a meeting, I think yesterday, said that the Navalny trial was incompatible with the principle of the rule of law, which puts it mildly. And the claims against Navalny are astonishing. You can't. I don't understand how somebody can be tried again and again for the same crime. The crime that he was charged, that he was tried for 2 years ago, was for embezzling £3.4 million worth of money intended for his charity, the FBK, and for embezzlement of that nature, there's a 10-year sentence expected, and that sentence, if it were now applied fully, would see him out of any running for any presidential race. Now, I don't think that it is that he is potentially a presidential candidate in any way, but he is the focus for opposition movements, and if he is treated so viciously, who else is likely to put their heads above the parapet? No, Mr. Putin will have a clear run in the next presidential election, and I think, I just repeat, I think that this conflict between the Ukraine and Russia is for domestic consumption, and I think it's likely that any retreat that takes place will be very slow. No, there are a number of ways that one can interpret the Ukrainian conflict. One could see it as being simply a reversing of the situation that occurred in the Cuban Missile Crisis. We don't want missiles near us, in the same way that you didn't want missiles near you in the 1960s. That, I think, would be a rather naive interpretation. I think this is the work of a master tactician who has learned his craft during the heyday of the Cold War. I think The problem is that Mr. Putin is out of date already, as President Obama very neatly put it. We're not thinking about territory anymore, we're thinking about influence. And Mr. Putin is obsessed with the goals and achievements that were made during the latter days of the Soviet Union. And I don't think he's adjusted his sights to what is going on now, but he is a very powerful and extremely able tactician. And whatever game he is playing, or whatever games, I think there's a multitude of games at this particular moment, of which I think the Navalny situation is just one. Whatever game Mr. Putin is playing, he should never be underestimated. Mr. Putin is an extremely capable player. And I certainly would not want to face him over a chessboard. Do follow my channel, do ring the bell, let me know what you think.